Charlie of the Rolling Stones died, and how does the Rolling Stones go on, and all that kind of stuff. But I thought, Jesus, like...
In 2021, the death of Charlie Watts, the rhythmic heart of the Rolling Stones, sent shockwaves across the rock world. But what stunned fans even more was not his passing itself, but the fact that none of his bandmates attended his funeral in Devon. The absence of Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Ronnie Wood fueled speculation. Had there been bitter arguments? Did Charlie's family bar them from attending? Or was something darker at play? Secrets so powerful they could shake the Rolling Stones monument if exposed? To understand the reasons, we must look back at Charlie's life. Known as the quiet gentleman of the Stones, he was considered the band's moral compass. Unlike Jagger and Richards, who lived notoriously wild lifestyles, Charlie was reserved, disciplined, and scandal-free, at least on the surface. But in the mid-1980s, even he spiraled into a dark period. Around 1983, his drinking and drug use reached dangerous levels. For Charlie, it wasn't about chasing pleasure. It was about masking deep personal pain and turmoil at home. He later admitted it was a midlife crisis, a haunting confession from a man fans always saw as steady and controlled. His wife, Shirley, endured his struggles and stood by him. In the end, Charlie pulled himself out of the darkness, quit smoking, and rebuilt his life, yet fate had other challenges in store. On August 5, 2021, the Stones announced Charlie would miss their No Filter tour due to a medical procedure. Just 3 weeks later, on August 24th, he passed away at age 80 at Royal Brompton Hospital in London. The cause was squamous cell carcinoma. His funeral, small and private, was held in Devon, but his bandmates' absence sparked outrage. Why weren't they there? The first reason was practical but harsh: the unstoppable machine of the Stones tour. At the time of his death, the band was in Boston rehearsing for No Filter. This wasn't just a concert, it was a massive operation with hundreds of crew members, contracts worth millions, and fans who had waited through the pandemic since 2019. Canceling would have meant financial collapse, legal chaos, and betrayal of fans' trust. The Stones were trapped in their own momentum, unable to stop, but fans whispered of something more chilling: the so-called Rolling Stones curse. According to legend, the band had bound themselves to a vow: the music must never stop, not even in death. Some saw their absence from the funeral not as neglect, but as ritual, a way of declaring that the Stones would play on forever, even without their heartbeat. In that sense, stepping on stage became their strange and symbolic farewell. There was also the matter of Charlie's family. Known for his quiet, private nature, Charlie hated fuss. His loved ones reportedly feared that if Jagger, Richards, and Wood attended, the funeral would turn into a media circus, with cameras, fans, and chaos overwhelming the intimate service. By staying away, the band may have been respecting Charlie's wishes. As Sam Cutler, a former Stones tour manager, put it, Charlie would have hated the fuss. Another reason lay in the band members' own health. Ronnie Wood had just survived 2 bouts of cancer, leaving him fragile. Keith Richards had undergone heart surgery and was warned against unnecessary stress. In the shadow of COVID-19, none of them could afford to take risks with their health. Some insiders even suggested one member was dangerously close to the brink himself, and appearing at the funeral would have revealed secrets the band wanted hidden. Perhaps the most painful explanation was emotional. If Jagger, Richards, and Wood had attended, they might have broken down completely. By avoiding the funeral, they kept their strength intact for the stage. The Stones had become more than a band, they were a global institution, a machine too big to pause. To keep that machine alive, they had to repress their grief. Every show that followed became a silent memorial, their performances carrying an invisible weight of loss. On top of everything, the world was still in the grip of the COVID-19 pandemic. In August 2021, strict travel bans and quarantine laws made international movement nearly impossible. Flying from the US to the UK meant weeks of isolation, which would have derailed the tour entirely. Even close friends like former bassist Bill Wyman and other collaborators missed the funeral due to restrictions. Charlie's farewell was marked not by glamour, but by quiet necessity. Still, the Stones made sure he was remembered. On the No Filter tour, each show paused for a tribute. A giant screen lit up with images of Charlie behind his drums, while the band's fiery tongue logo turned black and white like a mourning banner. Keith Richards posted a photo of Charlie's drum kit with a closed sign. Mick Jagger chose a smiling portrait of his friend. On stage, Jagger often choked back tears, each performance doubling as a memorial. Even in death, Charlie's music lived on. On the 2023 album Hackney Diamonds, his songs Mess It Up and Live by the Sword still featured his drumming recorded before his passing. Each beat felt like a ghostly heartbeat, reminding fans that Charlie's rhythm was eternal. But to understand why his absence was felt so deeply, we must look back at how it all began. London, early 1960s. Charlie Watts was already a respected jazz drummer, disciplined and steady, earning a rare stable income. He wasn't eager to join a fledgling rock band. It wasn't until January 1963 that he finally agreed to play with Mick, Keith, Brian Jones, and Ian Stewart. On February 2, 1963, at the Ealing Jazz Club, he debuted with the Rolling Stones. From that moment, his drumming became the foundation of the Stones' sound, carrying them from smoky clubs to stadiums filled with millions. Charlie wasn't just a drummer, he was a creative force behind the band's image, stage designs, and legendary performances. He masterminded the 1975 stunt where the Stones played Brown Sugar from a moving truck down Fifth Avenue, stunning Manhattan. He designed elaborate stages like the Lois Stage in 1975 and the Steel Wheels set in 1989. For Charlie, music was more than sound, it was an art form, a spectacle of rhythm and vision. Yet behind the fame, Charlie's private life was the opposite of rock and roll chaos. In 1964, he married Shirley Ann Shepherd, the love of his life. While his bandmates were notorious for affairs, Charlie remained faithful for 57 years. He found peace at Halden House in Devon, caring for Arabian horses and reading quietly with his wife. Friends said he found in horses what he never found in show business: loyalty and silence. Charlie also loved art, literature, and cricket. He collected classic cars, not to drive, but to admire as pieces of beauty. His vast collection of rare books, including a signed copy of The Great Gatsby, revealed another side of his refined taste. In 2024, the Bayeux Museum in France acquired a full-size replica of the Bayeux Tapestry from his personal collection, proof of his deep connection to history and culture. To his family, he wasn't a rock star, but a husband, a father, and a grandfather. While the world saw him as the heartbeat of the Rolling Stones, his loved ones knew him as the quiet soul who valued loyalty above everything. Charlie Watts' life was a paradox. On stage, he was the thunderous yet steady heart of one of history's wildest rock bands. Offstage, he was a faithful husband, a gentle farmer, and an art lover. By day, he kept rhythm for millions. By night, he kept the flame alive for his family. That contrast made him not just a rock legend, but a human one, quiet, loyal, and eternal. What are your impressions of Charlie Watts, the quiet man who kept the rhythm of the Rolling Stones for nearly 6 decades? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.